Would everyone please stand? False alarm. I just wanted to see if I didn't say Simon said. We ready? Would everyone please stand for invocation or pledge allegiance and standing? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, as we gather this evening, we thank you for this wonderful town that we live in. We ask for strength, courage, and wisdom in all of our decisions. Tonight, I'd like to ask for some special help with the violence throughout our nation. It's still the greatest nation in the world to live in, but a little help would be appreciated. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We have a tie to Dayton, Ohio. Our clerk treasurer prior to Sandy, Ann Whaley, had served for 2 or 3 terms. Her daughter is the mayor of Dayton, Ohio. And special wish or prayer for her to have the strength, courage, and wisdom that she needs at this time goes on. And also for the mayor of El Paso, Texas. Call to order the August 6th meeting of the Mooresville Town Council. Council members have had an opportunity to read the minutes from our previous meeting, and I need a motion to approve.
I will make a motion that we approve the July 16, 2019 minutes as written.
I was not.
Let's just go ahead and make a motion been made. I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Okay, we are going to abstain. Jessica was not at our last meeting, so she abstained on that vote. We will move it to our next meeting. We were going to have the public hearing for waiver of non-compliance, but I heard Mike bragging about he was first on the list, so we're going to move him down the road. In the ongoing saga of the last move compliancy,
Yes.
we have before us a resolution that references the previous resolution. I mean, we had that to resolution 8, and that was it. Mike, can you give us kind of a brief overview of that?
I would. I think, council, this would be a public hearing, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
please.
Just so that I don't have to reiterate, obviously, by speaking, to give this reminder, is the work from the EDC with Last Move. Last Move had a fire in Flagstaff Business Park. It's the building where Powder Pro Coating is located. And as the building was burned last year, what they had to do was come back based upon reconstruction and start the process before they could get the tax abatement through you. And the council said to me, that's okay, let's help the company any way we can. So this would be a waiver of non-compliance that the council says, hey, it's okay that you started the work prior to the tax abatement. The state statute allows that type of waiver, and that's what we're here seeking this evening. And of course, the EDC stands in support of the company and the resolution in front of you this evening on that regarding the public hearing as well.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone to speak on behalf of or against this waiver of compliance? Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I will make a motion that we close the public hearing for Last Move LLC.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Then from there, I would need a motion to approve or deny resolution 9, 2019.
Make a motion that we approve Resolution 9, 2019.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Mike, tell them to build the building.
They're on the way. I'll go tell them right now. Thank you very much.
It's not what you said you were going to.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Next item on the agenda is a pay request for clarifier. This is the starting point of paying $1.317 million for the final clarifier that we had damage to back in 15. This is the first pay request. You were sent copies of the pay request, and we have where it has been signed off by the engineer, by the project manager, and by the certified engineer with HNTB, and then also with Danny Tingle. I spoke to Danny this morning, and he was satisfied with the work as it was presented in a pay request. Need a motion to approve payment of the first pay request, $51,558.
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
I will second the motion of $51,558.
Motion been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We just signed that? Oh, okay. Did you bring a copy of the Humane Society's contract?
Yes.
Oh, she's got one here, but I apologize. Oh, I did bring it. We do have one. Dustin, I know that you and Dave have kind of worked on this, and this was a think outside the box project for our animal control services here in the town of Mooresville. I know that you've kind of been a lead on this with the Humane Society of Morgan County. Other than the riveting language in this contract, was there anything that you saw that was in line, out of line, or?
No, I think everything in here is appropriate. I would like to bring up Jen from the Humane Society here in Morgan County. I have one quick question from a constituent.
I'm Jennifer Lambigan. I'm the director of the Morgan County Humane Society.
The constituent's question she relayed at the Old Settlers Fair was if somebody were to catch a possum in their backyard, would this be in line with the scope of work?
Not currently, no, unless the possum was injured or ill.
Okay.
So we don't do nuisance wildlife removal.
Is there a program or something to where the call's going to come to you regardless, probably?
Right, we do. We have a variety. We refer to nuisance wildlife removal specialists, people who are licensed and educated in nuisance wildlife removal. We work with 2 different rescue groups that do wildlife rehabilitation and rescue for injured or ill. And then for animals that are considered to be, by the state of Indiana Board of Animal Health, a disease vector for rabies, we work with the DNR for animals that need to be safely confined and then tested for public safety.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the young lady that submitted that question to me. I know I've talked to you extensively, changing this over and over, and I would be happy to answer any questions from the council. I think it looks good. We are saving a little money here. We both have the obligation as the town and the Humane Society to back out basically at any time. So happy to answer anything.
Well, when you said that you would send into a private, non-domesticated nuisance trapping, that is 4 feet higher.
Correct.
Between the.
Correct. If it's nuisance wildlife removal, then yes, it is at the homeowner's cost.
One other thing, sorry, Jen. Martinsville's a long drive to come up. We want to reiterate that you have, shall we say, agents up in this area that would not be driving from Martinsville per se. They would be responding much faster than the drive up.
We do. We have 2 full-time officers at this time, and we have 4 emergency officers that cover from 5 p.m. till 9 a.m. and then from 5 p.m. till on Friday till 9 a.m. on Monday morning, and for all the animal-related emergencies.
I will cease asking questions at that time.
I thought you did a good job. Legal counsel, you had a chance to review this.
I did, I have, and I don't have any problem with it.
Now, the only thing that I am going to argue just a little bit, I know you made a comment that we save a little bit of money. From what we've spent in the past, it still gives us the leftover money. We still have to heat, cool, pay for water, sewage, and everything at our current facility, which this is written in there. If they're going to use our facility as their in the hold harmless portion of this, that would be also on our property that we would be held harmless. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I need a motion to either move forward, table, or discuss more further.
I will make a motion that we move forward with the contract for services for the Morgan County Humane Society.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, I know I spoke to you on the phone before. It's nice to put a face with that. I know I sound a lot taller on the phone. At least that's what I've been told. So nice to finally meet you. Now, how do we seamlessly move this into our dispatch and everything like that? Will you cover that? Do you want a motion?
Gee, what do you? I've taken on so much work here lately. The calls are currently going into the dispatch anyway. There has been a gap from our illustrious animal control officer seeking retirement and today.
I never did like him when he said he was gonna, retire. I quit. Oh, hi, Mark. Mark, you left some big shoes to fill.
Yes, and thank you so much. I've heard nothing but good things.
So you will work with
Yes.
dispatch?
Yep. If you want an official motion for that, I will do that as well.
Oh, I take you at your word, don't you, Jessica?
I do.
HR contract. Let's roll on with that, Justin.
Speaking of a lot of work, at the last council meeting, I briefly spoke about, I've met with county reps, and they've
kind of vetted a company. I reached out to them, seeing a need here in Mooresville, and it was approved at the last council meeting to go ahead and seek their services, maybe get a letter of engagement. I do have a letter of engagement tonight listing prices. It is a consulting firm. It is not a full-time person, so it is a little bit more cost-effective for us as a town. The county, I know that they are seeking funding for one full-time person for the entire county and using the services. The one thing that we went back and forth on was we have a lot of department heads, council members, things like that. They would actually want one or two points of contact that department heads and anybody want to seek services to go to before we start writing a check for anywhere from $125 an hour down to $45 an hour. We also kind of went over a starting point, and that is the using their consulting firm to review our personnel policies. They gave an estimate of $12,840 to $14,600 plus expenses to just handle that portion. Again, I've looked at this over and over. I've had very positive comments from all the departments. Even some of the public came up and said this is a great idea, it's something that's much needed. I think this is a step in the right direction. I also sent the letter of engagement to each council member, but I would ask that we add 2 points of contact for the department heads in the town to go to before sending it up to the HR firm to address. We don't want 77 employees wanting to run up that bill.
I heard,
I'm not saying this all again.
I heard, I would love to be one of the liaisons. Did you hear him say that?
I think so,
And
yeah.
did you hear him also volunteer maybe Debbie Mons as our, since she is currently doing a lot of our payroll and, is that what you heard? Did you look over the contract legal counsel?
I did. And I'm satisfied with it, yes.
Okay.
Open mouth, insert foot.
That's kind of the way that I heard it. Now, let's back up into the appropriation report. Andy, what is our CCD fund? What is that? It's a 400 number? Appropriation report. Here, I have a fund report that was printed. What was that last year? 401. Was it simple? Reading about this and other communities that are using it, it is a town improvement. We could use our CCD fund for that. With a not to exceed, a yes, or just to kind of review it as the claims come in.
I think reviewing it as claims come in, I've had a lot of ideas already thrown my way. And I kind of pumped the brakes on them and told them that we needed to pass this first before they start throwing everything at me to go search every option. Everything from compensation reports to hiring processes and job descriptions. I backed everybody off and said, this has to happen first.
Okay. Jessica, any questions or comments?
No?
Would you like to move forward, pump the brakes, or?
I would like to move forward with this portion, yes, and do it as a claim, by claim.
Okay. Well, then I need a motion, and I'd like that to include our 2 points of contact.
I'm not big for mentioning myself, but I will make a motion that myself, Debbie Motts, are the town points of contact for our HR consultant, Wagner, Irwin, and Shield and Associates, and to also approve going ahead and signing the letter of engagement tonight.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Anthony, that's 2 for 2, just write Dustin in on like everything apparently.
See who's spending all the money tonight, don't you? Our next item on the agenda is, and on the agenda is Mark Pam sightings. And Pam, not taking anything away from you, but this all started with the VFW. Pam called me and was nice enough to call me and say, hey, I want to be included in this. And if you look at your maps that came with this, if we start on, and kind of looking from South Street, if we start at Indiana Street and work our way east, the first parking lot there, I guess that's not, the first vacant parking lot there is owned by the VFW. Next it is an alley that Dave assures me that we have not used in quite a while. It runs north and south in between their vacant parking lot and what is referred to by some of the old people like me, I guess, the Paul Hadley home. They own both sides of that. Their request was for that alley. Then the next alley, which would be east of the old Paul Hadley building and the Hagee Family Trust. Then there was also an alley that runs east and west that has actually 3 adjoining property owners to it. I'm going to say that we have not had any contact with the other 2 property owners in this case. So as of right now, my suggestion would be to take that alley off of the table for this request. Now, we can move back to and treat both of these alleys as separate issues or items. The property that is owned on both sides by the VFW, Dave assures me again, we have no value in that. It comes back, it enters off of South Street and it comes back to the VFW's property. We can look at that as a separate issue. Obviously, the adjoining property owners on both sides want to vacate. The next property is between 2 property owners that are both willing to vacate it, but yet there is some question on ownership. Rather than the VFW, I think they have signed off. Am I correct?
That's correct. I haven't they signed off.
They have signed off and are willing to say, we're satisfied in abandoning our half and giving our half of the alley to the Hagee Family Trust. Now, we have representatives here from the Hagee Family Trust with Ms. Sidens and also Mr. Rinster from the VFW if you have questions for them. Did I sum that up fairly well?
Sounds fine to me.
If we chose to do something like this, do we have enough information, a way to do both of these alleys this evening? Do we need to do the one that we were most prepared for?
The answer is not really. We still need to publish notice.
Okay,
Because when you vacate property like this, there may be an interest out there that nobody's aware of, but they are entitled to legal notice. So we will publish notice, we'll publish notice for both of them,
Mm-hmm.
and then set a public hearing on that. After the public hearing, I'll have an ordinance prepared, and if the public hearing goes all right, you will have a separate ordinance for each one of these because they're being treated differently. One where, you know, you have both properties, one owner owning both sides of the property, and then the other, of course, it will be represented in the second ordinance that the VFW is conceding their interest in that half of the alley, and that's all going to the Hague. So prepare ordinances accordingly, and we'll get those published, and we can have public hearings on both of them the same month.
Does that satisfy the requests of both parties?
It does us.
Yes.
I need a motion from the council to move forward with this, allowing for legal advertisement and then also for
Preparation of ordinances.
preparation of ordinances. Need a bill for that?
Would this be done at our next meeting? Legal?
Yeah, I will check the publication statute on that.
Okay.
I think it's a little shorter, but if
Yeah,
not,
Let's go
that's,
with our first meeting.
yeah,
oh, you mean in August? No, it will not be ready for the
okay,
meeting in
yeah,
August.
that's what I was.
Yeah,
we were,
September.
Moving it to September.
Yeah. I forgot we still have another meeting in August, that's right. Yeah.
Make a motion that we move the public hearing, allow for legal publishing and preparation of ordinances to our first council meeting in September.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
We will advertise and we will have a public hearing. I would assume that you might want to, both parties may want to attend, just in case there are any questions.
We'll be here.
September 3rd. It's a day after Labor Day.
It is. Woo, 3 day weekend. Is there any other business from the council? Legal counsel.
Two items. I sent information out on this earlier to the town council. I have a draft development agreement for the property that's abuts Indiana American Water Company. And my understanding is they do have some interest in that property and be willing to work with the town. There are multiple ways a municipality can sell public property, but where you have a situation where you can utilize a sale or transfer for economic development and consistency of land use, you can do that through a development agreement. That's what I prepared and sent out to the council. So if the council would like to go forward on that basis, then the development agreement obviously would go to Indiana American Water Company for their review and see if they'd be willing to enter into the agreement. And it still has to bring the average of 2 appraisals by an independent appraiser. So that price is most real estate that the public entity sells has to bring an average of 2 appraisals. So that would be the same for this property. The other one is the former police station, and I prepared a notice of sale of that by public bid. And as it's set up now, publication requirements on that, we have to publish it 2 weeks in a row with at least 1 week. The last publication has to be at least 1 week prior to the sale. So we could still meet the September 3rd town council meeting for that one. So if you have any questions on either one of those, I'll be happy to answer.
We have appraisals on both properties.
Yes.
And the appraisal, or in the notice of public sale, that is the average of 2 appraisals.
Yeah, that amount as a minimum bid in that public notice on the police station is the average of those 2 appraisals. So.
Now, in talking to, in speaking with, Baker Tilly, now they have changed names. The question was, what can we do with the revenue? Can we put it in a non-reverting fund to go back into, blank? You know, like with the police department, can we sell the police department and put it in a non-reverting fund, to pay their maintenance agreements on cleaning and so on and so forth? And the answer, the quick answer was no, you can't. The answer is, we have to the best of our ability, determine where that property was paid from. Whether, and this goes back to 1996, when we purchased the old post office to make it a police station. Was it purchased out of our CCD? And the answer, Sandy felt like, would probably be a yes, which is a non-reverting fund, which can be used for any, so we could put it in there and earmark it as, we're gonna keep up with the maintenance. That was one of our concerns, were when we went into the new building, is how much more was it gonna cost to heat, cool, clean, and so on and so forth. So that was that answer. The other building was, I think, probably in the 1800s was the ground was purchased. Because I think at one point in time it was our first and first viable wastewater treatment area. So that can go back into our general fund. I know that in the years that we've talked about selling that property, the comment was always made that we would need some areas to take that stuff and move. So we talked about purchasing or building another building at our current town street garage. So that can be done also. The answer is, can we put it into MVH? No. But we can put it into the general fund and use it for that purpose. I think that sets out what we wanted it to do. This property is just the front parcel. It is a parcel that sets out on Greencastle Road. There is a bottom area we refer to as the old Testerman property, and it is not part of this sale. Indiana American, because of their limitations on space, wants anything and everything that we're willing to part with. Now, I guess the next question is, let's do these one at a time. Let's look at the development agreement. Are we ready to move forward and present this to Indiana American? Council members comfortable with that?
I'm good with it, yes.
Yeah,
Can I have a motion to move forward with the development agreement with Indiana American?
I'll make the motion.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do you mind if can I have a motion to be the contact and reach out to them?
I will make a motion that we make Tom do actual work for once.
I'll second.
So rare. Did I hear you second that?
Second, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anthony, scratch out Dustin, put Tom on that.
See, now in my head, like, Anthony Dustin does everything.
Plug.
Okay, that we'll move forward with.
That is definitely not true.
They're agreeing here to pay everything.
Okay, doesn't matter what it is.
No.
Okay. Now, notice of sale of property. We have it as printed before us as the bids to be open on September 3rd. That would give us enough time to advertise
Yes.
and move forward. And it also would probably give us enough time to close by the end of the year if we needed to.
Yes.
Council members comfortable with that?
Yes, I'm good with this one also.
Yep.
And may I have a motion to move forward with the notice of sale of public property?
Make a motion that we move forward with the notice of sale, public property, public bid.
Motion been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm glad we're filling up the agenda for September 3rd. Well, that's my anniversary, and
Uh-oh.
I'm sure my wife will be happy to have me here. But I'll be here.
We can bring flowers.
What?
I said, we can bring flowers if
Yeah.
you want to bring
The
her.
fun fact of that is, he works free on his anniversary.
Well, I have a lot of stuff to do then.
Okay, Sandy, you will advertise this, correct? Where do we want to advertise this at?
It will go on the,
Like you read?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know if anyone on Wall Street would be interested in that property.
Put it in the Wall Street Journal.
Yes.
I will
And did you?
argue we don't have the budget to publish in the Wall Street
It would be a
Journal.
really small ad.
This is it, basically, isn't it? This is the notice that we would have to print.
Yes.
And
Just need to be dated.
dated this 6th day of August. And then, just as a note, here on the back, you said it needed to be in,
Needs to be 2 weeks apart, and the last publication has to be at 1 week prior to the September 3rd.
you got that? Weeks apart. Thursday. Did you have anything else?
That's all I have.
Department head Dave, did you have anything?
He says no, then he's walking up.
Thank you. We got a successful summer season. We got both Rooker Run and Rooker Trace crack sealed where needed. We removed a lot of unwanted vegetation from our cemeteries, and we cleaned a lot of stones. Work continues on the ditch project, and we have started replacing the sidewalk on Sweetwood Drive. This is being done in-house with our street department, and we're going to replace about 1,000 feet of sidewalk and a few aprons that need it.
Thank you very much.
Well, I will say that the pavements and the asphalt were very hot walking in that parade on Sunday, so. But they look good.
Community crossings is all finished except for the striping.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting that crew in. We're constantly on the phone.
But is that us that should be,
It is Shut Bill that's driving it,
okay,
but I'm on him.
we had a substantial completion day and,
We did, we had some.
okay. Public comments.
Shane Williams, 400 Northridge, here in town. I want to thank the council for the HR contract. I think that was very prudent considering the times. Also, I had a question. Do we have an interim chief yet of police? We don't. do
We have someone from our police commission here, because that's actually who sets that. So that would be,
Okay. With appointments, for example, for the police commission, what's the process for appointments? Are those publicly advertised on the website or anything? I'm just curious how the appointment process works.
I think usually what ends up happening is, there has been, I've had 2 or 3 people ask, hey, how do we do this? And I just say, reach out to all the council members, that's the way we've always done it in the past. And then we wait and someone will usually bring it to us. I have two gentlemen that both have an extremely large amount of experience in policing, and kind of vetting them, and have asked them to also make the phone calls to the other council members.
So all council members get a chance to speak with them and so forth,
I would hope so. I mean, that's the
if
way.
they want to.
I've actually had somebody express interest through a police officer as well, and that was my recommendation, is that they reach out to each and every council member.
But it's not advertised anywhere. I'm talking, not just this position, but for any appointment.
Usually we'll make the comment that, hey, we're looking for someone. I know we have a vacancy on our planning commission that I have tried and begged and asked, and everyone says, thank you, but no thank you. So sometimes it's more of a, we also have a position on our board of zoning appeals, and it's word of mouth, hey, how can we get someone in here? So not too many people, not everyone is as civic minded as what we would like them to be.
Thank you. That was just my question.
Thanks, Shane.
Any other comments? Motion for approval of payment of claims. Andy Dollar. Jessica.
Oh.
I got it.
Thank you.
Make a motion that we approve claims in the amount of $704,879.10. 704,879.10.
A lot of money done.
I didn't.
Motion been made by a second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Our next meeting day will be August 20th. You guys want to have it here?
If we could.
Okay.
I know where
6:30.
this is.
And a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight.
Motion made and seconded, all in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Sorry. Now that we're officially adjourned, everybody, baby box donations can still be made for the next couple hours at Old Settlers. I can do that because, you know, we were adjourned.
What?
Shameless plug.
What'd you say, Dustin?
I said shameless plug. We were adjourned, don't yell.
Just send me the information on that donation, please, or
Okay.
how I go about making it, or how.
Well, so this is their point of contact.
Okay.
She's the lady I've been working with. We actually have a fund. We have a fund here set up, and you can just write a check or bring it on or whatever.
But would it be written town of Mooresville?
It is the Mooresville Safe Haven Baby Box Fund. That is the longest name of a fund ever, right?
I think that's right. Mooresville.
Safe Haven Baby Box Fund. Let me turn this off.
Okay.
Sandy, I'm gonna reach across where you got it.